And to each and every one of you on the line, my goodness, this is going to be an incredible, off-the-chart, marvelous Monday. I want you to get something to write with, something to write on. I'm going to empower you this morning with something that's going to just jack you out of your mind, okay? So I had a great time Sunday preaching in the Prosper, Texas area here, right? And we just had a fabulous time. God's ministers met with us. And, it's just incredible. I told the folks I love to preach because I love the one that I preach about. I love the folks to whom I preach. And I love the book from which I preach. So I just love it. and here on this leadership call, we love also meeting with other like-minded leaders and folks who are decided, made up their mind that they want. Like I asked the church, matter of fact, let me do this. Let me ask you this. I told the church, I'm going to ask y'all, I'm telling you up front, it's a trick question. I don't normally do it, but this is a trick question. So I warned them, right? So I said, do dogs like bones? And I just paused. And, of course, people are shaking and some places say, yeah. And some of you might be tempted. Like years ago, I was tempted to say, yeah, dogs like bones. No, dogs don't like bones. Dogs like meat. They just settle for bones. And you know what? I told the folks, and I'm telling you today, it's time for some of you to stop settling. And because, see, if you can't get any meat, I just chew on the bone. Well, no, honey. It's time for you to drop that bone and get something with some meat on it. And so I'm going to talk to you about how to make the rest of the year the best of your year. Oh, come on, somebody. I said we're going to talk about how to make the rest of your year the best of your year. I've heard folks talk about making the rest of your life the best of your life. And I thought, man, I can't wait for the whole life. Let's get the year. Come on, somebody. And so here in this December, which, by the way, there's five Sundays. I think only 800 out of 832 years this happens, but there's 5 Sundays, 5 Mondays, and 5 Tuesdays. And so, man, that's just incredible. So we're going to dive into how to make the rest of the year the best of your year. And by the way, the December declaration, I'll give that tomorrow, but I got so much to cover today. And it's on the website, www.freebreakthroughpresentation.com, freebreakthroughpresentation.com. If you click on the declaration page, you'll see how to create a December to remember. And so if you want to make a dynamic December and make a December to remember, you need that. And that fits in with what I'm going to talk about here, how to make the rest of the year the best of the year. And again, Judges 16:30, you remember Samson at the end of his life, he's like, you know what? I've been blinded. I'm chained. They're making sport of me, making fun of me. And, I've ruined my testimony and everything else. And so he's like, you know what? I'm getting close to dying. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, Lord, I tell you what, just last time, just one last time, would you give me the grace? Would you give me the power? Would you give my strength back? I know, would you give my strength back? And so, of course, you know the story, those you know it. And he asked for a young fellow to lead him over to the pillars. And with that, he said, Lord, allow me to kill more of these Philistines in my death. Give me my strength one more time. And he pulled those pillars down. And the Bible says that Samson killed more in his death than he did in his whole lifetime. Wow. Think about that. So listen. If that could happen for Samson, and he in his last did more than that, means you can finish your year strong. The rest of your year can be the best of your year. Jim Ryan, you ought to check him out sometimes, way back in the 60s. But he was a runner, a legend, and they would call it the finishing kick. He wasn't these super flashy guys that would jump out. No. He just kind of would meander around in the middle, sometimes even near the back, but just and it was like he wasn't even a threat. That people thought he wasn't even a threat, right? And then at the very end, after everybody else was tired and started to slow down a little bit, he would kick it in high gear and come up and pass everybody and win the race. And so they called it the finishing kick. Jim Ryan, you got to look it up sometimes, but the finishing kick. And when I think about that, I thought, you know what? We ought to have some leaders, the mark of a real leader. And, some of you that are new, you hear us saying shark, shark. And again, that's all about the shark. You know, he's aggressive. The shark makes things happen. The shark, we say sometimes, shark it up, right? Shark up, shark up. Don't be whining. Come on, shark up. So in all the land animals, the dolphins, again, they're fun loving, and the whale, they swim in school, so they like to be a team player. And the sea urchin is kind of slow moving but methodical. But when it comes to the shark, oh my goodness, that shark is aggressive. The shark makes things happen. The shark, kind of like the lion is the king of the jungle, is like the shark is like the king of the sea, and that shark goes after it. So by nature, you might be one of those other personalities, but by nurture or training on this breakthrough leadership call, we're going to train you to be like a shark. Check somebody out. The more successful they are, the more characteristics they have of a shark. And I don't have time to go through the 12 characteristics. We'll have somebody do that. I made up my mind. We'll make sure we go through that every month so you're up to speed on it. But how to make, is there anybody other than me interested in how to make the rest of your year the best of your year? And I believe I can answer for you and say yes. So number one, real simple. Realize if it's happened for others, like Joseph, it can happen for you. See, if God did something, I always say this, if God did something for somebody, he can do it for anybody, but he didn't make you an anybody. No. He made you a somebody. And so realize, number one, if it happened for others, it can happen for you. So Joseph, again, my friend, here he is. And just one day, think about this, just one day he goes from prison to now being second in command. I'm telling you, my friend, and you can finish this year strong. The rest of this year can be the best of your year if you realize it happened for others, it can happen for you. And I'm going to tell you straight out, it's going to happen for me by the grace of God, and I'd love to have you in with it. And I believe you'll commit to it, and that's why I want to give this to you. So number one, just realize if it happened for someone else, it can happen for you. Number two, recognize God's plan and power. If you want to make the rest of your year the best of your year, and I believe you do, you can't just realize that it happened for others, it can happen for you, but you got to recognize God's plan and power. And that is, he's the only one who likes to get the glory. Watch this now. So he does things in a different way. So he's chosen the foolish things to confound the wise. Come on now. The base things. So you know what he does? He works a strategy and works a way that other people wouldn't work, my friend, because everybody else thought, the Savior would come with this booming, but no. He came as a little helpless child, right? So watch this, my friend. I'm telling you, recognize God's plan and power. And the Bible says, Zechariah 4:6, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord Almighty. And God makes sure he gets the glory. There was one missionary that was mightily used of God, and they asked him, why do you think God used you in such a mighty way? He said, simple. God looked down and found the most insignificant man he could find. That was me. And he said, if I use him, they'll know only I did it, and I'll get the glory. And so sometimes God lets us get in a precarious situation. Sometimes God, listen, my friend, the whole year goes cattywampus. Sometimes this goes cattywampus. And in sometimes the last quarter, but in this case, the last month, the Lord pulls ahead and pulls things out. And everybody's, now you can only say, man, that had to be God. That's just God right there. That's God right there. And so recognize again. Check this out, my friend. The bigger the so-called problem or challenge, the bigger the miracle, the more grace. Like the Bible says, where sin doth abound, grace doth much more abound. So watch this, my friend. So don't get so caught up in the sin that you miss out on the grace. And so don't get so caught up on the difficulties. Don't get so caught up on the losses you had. Don't get so caught up on what you haven't accomplished, my friend. Recognize that we got a God that can pull things out at the last. Come on, I'm telling you, my friend, you can make the rest of your year the best of your year, because the way God's plan and power works, my friend, he oftentimes pulls things out at the last second. Number three, refuse what you don't want or like. Write that down. I said refuse what you don't want or like. Have you ever gotten a package from FedEx? And matter of fact, one company, and they said, well, we already sent it out. Just when it comes, just reject it. I was like, okay. And you know what I found out, my friend? I found out that to some people, because they said this, if you accept it, then you got to pay the shipping to send it back. But just reject it. Just don't receive it. And you know what, my friend? Why is it that we got enough sense not to receive packages that we no longer want, and we won't sign for what we don't want? But why do we keep signing for things in our lives that we don't want. Oh, come on, somebody. I mean, it's simple. You got to learn to refuse what you don't want or what you don't like. I refuse it. No, I'm not accepting that. Come on, somebody. I'm not accepting 11 months of failure. I'm not accepting my business not booming, my checks not zooming. I'm not accepting this, my friend. I'm not accepting less than perfect health. I'm not accepting, my friend, not having the wisdom to make the right. Listen, I'm going to reject that package. Come on, somebody. So refuse what you don't like. Hey, would you like to make the rest of your year the best of your year? Well, then refuse what you don't want or like. Stop talking about it. Stop bringing it up. Stop thinking about it. Stop mulling up. No, my friend. Just refuse it. I don't accept that. No. I'm not accepting the bones. I want the meat. Come on, somebody. Number 4. Would you like to make the rest of your year the best of your year? Well, number 4, just restart and recommit to what you started. I said restart and recommit to what you started. See, everybody starts off fine. Everybody starts off with great optimism and enthusiasm. Everybody starts out, but you know what, my friend? We got too many starters and not enough finishers. And so talent will start off well, but character finishes well. Come on, somebody. So I'm saying just restart and recommit to what you started. See, fall, winter, and summer shouldn't cancel out spring. Come on, somebody. So just restart and recommit to what you started. And again, my friend, understand that we got a great God. And my friend, if you submit and yield to him, I'm telling you, he can reset it, my friend. So watch this. Think about this. Anderson Silva, I was thinking about the fact that when he fought Chael Sonnen, and man, Anderson sometimes just kind of takes his time and quite frankly, Chael was getting the best of him. I mean, he was pulling the thing, and guess what, my friend? At the last part of the last round, Chael gets submitted because Anderson Silva puts him in a hole, chokes him out. I'm saying, listen. So what I'm saying is just Anderson just restarted and recommitted. It's like, look, I'm the GOAT. I'm the greatest of all. What am I doing? Why am I playing around with this guy? Why am I letting this thing go like this? And you can hear this corner people telling him. And I'm telling you, my friend, you just listen. If you want to make the rest of your year the best of your year, just restart and recommit to what you started, my friend. Listen, I love that. I don't know if you follow boxing, but Deontay Wilder, I mean, this guy is wild, you know, and he had a rematch with this guy, Luis Ortiz, and literally they were saying that, you know, Luis Ortiz had dropped some weight, and of course he's the only guy that ever gave Deontay Wilder some problems, and of course Deontay ended up knocking him out. But now in the rematch, everybody was like, okay, what's going to happen now? Matter of fact, when I was at the gym working out, the one guy was like, I don't know, man. Ortiz is 20 pounds lighter. I think he might get him. And so I was like, well, you'll see. But I think Wilder's going to just do what he normally does and knock the guy out. And so anyway, but man, the first round in Ortiz was, oh my goodness, outpointed Wilder. And the second round outpointed him again. The third round, literally, it was like he won 5 or 6. One round was questionable, but basically 5 rounds for sure. Ortiz won, hands down. And one of them's kind of questionable. Everybody's like, wow, is this how Wilder's going down? In the 7th round, all of a sudden, bam, knocked out Luis Ortiz. And after the fight, he said, my strategy was, he said, after the first fight, I realized I was going to tire this guy out and let him get tired, and then I'm going to take him out. Now, sometimes that's dangerous when you got heavyweights because just one punch can do it. But guess what? But what I'm saying is this, my friend. I'm saying this, that he was losing. His corner's like, come on, man. And people like, uh-oh, this might be it. But guess what, my friend? At the last instant, bam, he knocked him out. And I'm telling you, my friend, listen, you can make the rest of your year the best of your year. It doesn't always matter how you start, it's how you finish, my friend. And he didn't start that fight so well, and he wasn't doing so well, but he ended up so well, my friend. And that's what you have to do, and that's what leaders do. Leaders reach down and pull out something on the inside, my friend, and make it do what it's supposed to do, my friend. So, by the way, I want you to understand, anything you're not willing to fight for, you may have to do without. Oh, let me say this again. I said, anything that you're not willing to fight for, you may have to do without, although it was meant for you. Say that one more time. You got to get that, write that down. I said, anything you are not willing to fight for, you may have to do without, although it was meant for you. You see, my friend, there's so many things that people don't understand. It's meant for them, but guess what? They give up because of the battle. They give up because it's not that easy. They give up because, well, I've been trying so long and it just hadn't happened yet. My friend, I'm telling you, you just got to commit. Listen, I'm going to make the rest of this year the best of my year. That's what I decided, and I figure you might as well decide as well. But you can do it, my friend, and especially this, my friend, just restart and recommit. As a matter of fact, I love this. You watch this, my friend. Let me give it one more quote. Let me back up and give you that one more time. I know I talk fast. So anything you're not willing to fight for, you may have to do without, although it was meant for you. And I don't know how many people that applies to, my friend, but I'm telling you what, I'm telling you, like those Israelites, God wanted them to go into the promised land, but because of the fear, because they weren't willing to fight, oh, they loved those grapes and they loved it. But they was like, wait a minute, there's giants over there. Okay, well, go kill them. They're like, Josh and Caleb said, we be well able, but the other 10, I don't know. And they persuade the people, and the people went the negative route and said, I don't think so. God said, okay, I'm going to let y'all disbelievers wander in the wilderness till you die off, and I'm going to let the younger generation go in. Hey, listen, my friend, I'm telling you, listen, you can make the rest of this year the best of your year, but I'm telling you something, my friend, you're going to have to be willing to fight for it. See, the problem is, my friend, we don't have folks really ready to fight. I mean, get ready in the fight, my friend, and I'm telling you, when you understand that this thing is yours, when you understand, my friend, then you're willing to fight for it, my friend. No, it's not going to be easy. And champions, my friend, champions are the ones that understand the reason they're champions is because they overcame the adversity, regardless of what it was. So I said to somebody, throw me out to the wolves, I'll come back leading the pack. Come on, somebody. And now watch this. Now, 1 Corinthians 15:10. Oh, my goodness, this changed my life for the rest of my life, and it ought to do the same for you. Because if you want the rest of your life to be the best of your life, then you've got to watch this. 1 Corinthians 15:10. Here's what Paul said. I love this. He said, but by the grace of God, I am what I am, and his grace, which was bestowed upon me, was not in vain. Here it is. But I labored more abundantly than they all. Yet not I, but the grace of God which was with me. I call this breakthrough laboring grace. Oh, come on, somebody. 1 Corinthians 15:10. Breakthrough laboring grace. See, I'm telling you, my friend, I put on Facebook the other day, I'm willing to work for everything I prayed for. Some folks want to hide behind prayer and like try to make it like it's God's fault if it doesn't happen. No, my friend. Okay, you done prayed. Okay, now get up and put some feet to your prayer. But watch this, my friend. Paul said, I had laboring breakthrough grace. He said, I know it was the grace of God. He said, that was bestowed upon me. He said, but wait a minute, don't get this twisted. I outworked everybody. I labored more abundantly than they all. Paul said, don't get it twisted now. Now, I know it's the grace, but he said the grace that was upon me, I operated in the fullness of that grace. I didn't waste any of the grace. I worked the grace. Come on, somebody. And I'm telling you, you, by the grace of God, can make the rest of your year the best of your year. So access that grace, that breakthrough laboring grace, according to 1 Corinthians 15:10, and be like the Apostle Paul and say, I'll tell you, it ain't me, it's the grace of God. But I'm going to be honest, though, but I outworked them based on grace. I outworked everybody else. And that's my abundance. It came because I labored more abundantly than they all. But I also realized it really wasn't me. It was the grace of God which was with me. So watch this. Write this down. When I try, I fail. But when I yield to him, he through me prevails. Oh, good gracious. I hope somebody got that. I said, when I try, I fail. But when I yield to him, he through me prevails. I'm saying, see, you got to stop trying and start trusting. You got to stop trying and start committing. You got to stop trying and start yielding, my friend, and then work with that, knowing that the grace of God is upon you, my friend, and with you, and don't let it be in vain. In other words, don't let it be unused. See, potential is a great word, but in most people's life, potential has a sad meaning. Write that down. I said potential is a great word, but in most people's lives, potential has a sad meaning. Somebody text this to me because I never said it before, and I need this. So potential is a great word, but to most people, I just forgot what it said. So potential is a great word, but to most people, in essence, here's what the problem is. Potential is usually the unused portion of someone's good. For a lot of people, potential, again, it's a great word, but for most people, you got to understand potential usually just signifies that it's the unused portion of someone's good. Paul said, no, I squeezed every bit of grace that God put upon me. Wasn't nothing unused. Nothing was in vain. I gave it everything I had. He said, listen, and I'm telling you, my friend, I am telling you, you can make the rest of this year the best of your year. I'm telling you, you got to break away from these haters and these doubters. And by the way, haters having animosity toward everyone reaching success. See, my friend, they're going to hate on you. Like one of my mentors said, if you want people to get after you, do three things: have more, know more, and do more. They'll get after you. He said, if you want people to leave you alone, just do three things. I said, what's that? He said, have nothing, know nothing, do nothing. When I got to thinking about that, if you have nothing, know nothing, do nothing, they're going to call you lazy and shiftless and no good. So you going to get in trouble. You might as well get in trouble for doing the right thing. You might as well get in trouble for breaking some records. You might as well get in trouble, my friend, from pulling away from the pack. You might as well get in trouble, my friend, for going beyond. You might as well do it. I'm telling you, my friend, 1 Corinthians 15:10, when you understand the grace of God that's upon us, how much unused grace is in you and with you, my friend? How much of the grace and that potential is nothing but an unused portion of your good? It's time to work it, my friend. It's time to work it. Listen, don't die with the stuff still in you, my friend. Don't die with the grace in vain, not yielded. Paul said, no, sir. I worked it to. See, somebody said, pray like it all depends on God, but work like it all depends on you. And Paul said, man, I worked this grace thing, man, I worked that bad boy. I call that breakthrough labor and grace. And some of y'all need to get baptized with that because you just keep sitting back. And what you do, I'm saying, listen, my friend, stop. Well, let's go on real quick because I want to finish in decent time. And number 5, rehearse the verse. Okay, I'm about to shout now. I said rehearse the verse. And that is this: I'm committed to making the rest of my year the best of my year because I refuse to walk in fear, but rather fly by faith. Oh, I could drop the mic right there on that one. I said, rehearse this verse. I'm committed. This is Dr. Breakthrough 7:7. Okay, anyway, but I'm committed to making the rest of my year the best of my year because I refuse to walk in fear, but rather I'll fly by faith. Folks, why walk in fear when you can fly by faith? Come on, somebody. I'm saying, listen, why walk? Somebody say, well, if I don't want to, say this is going to be the rest of my year is going to be the best of my year. What if it doesn't happen? Well, it won't happen for somebody like you with that type of attitude. But my friend, when you put yourself on the limb and you understand, listen, my friend, you understand that you got a part and God's got a part, but he won't do his part until you do your part. And you can't do his part, but he won't do his part until you first do your part. And my friend, your part is you got to start rehearsing the verse. By the way, write this down. They said it's easier said than done, but you tell them Dr. Breakthrough said, but it will never be done until it's first said. Oh my goodness, it ought to be a shame to enjoy your own talk like this. I don't know if anybody else get anything out of it. I love this, man. Oh my goodness. By the way, when I didn't like me, nobody else liked me. When I started loving me, other folks started loving me. When I didn't like my speaking, nobody else liked it. When I started loving my speaking, like Tampa, where I'll go to speak this weekend, I'm going to tell them, I said, I had to come down here because I heard one of my favorite speakers and all the world was speaking and I couldn't miss him. And they kind of look, I pause, and I'm like, you're looking at him now. That's me. So I had to just come there and hear what I had to say. And I say that jokingly, but I'm actually serious. See, Numbers 13:33, we were in our own eyes, we were as grasshoppers, so we were in their eyes. See, the way the Israelites view themselves is the way other people view them. And so when they look down, when they undervalued who they are and whose they are and what they had, then the enemy looked at them the way they saw themselves. And most people, you don't understand it. They're seeing you the way you see yourself. So listen, you got to learn. You got to up the way you see yourself. You got to ask God to show you your real worth, my friend. Come on now. Now in Him, keep in mind now, if without Him I can do nothing, and too many people that's all they talk about, then with Him that means I can do everything. So why we keep emphasizing that without Him I can do nothing? I ain't without Him. I'm with Him now. So with Him, that means I can do everything. So why not we got stuff to do, my friend. So rehearse the verse. I'm committed to making the rest of my year the best of my year because I refuse to walk in fear, but rather fly by faith. Did you get that? I said, I'm committed. You ought to write this down. You ought to say this. I mean, God gave this to me super early this morning, my friend, and this is going to be one of my mantras. I just, throughout the day, just keep saying, I wrote it down in my prayer chamber, and every morning when I'm there, I'll see it and commit it. But you got to commit this to memory. You got to write it down. You got to say it, put it on your phone, and speak it into the voice text thing. But watch this. I'm committed. Get it down now. I'm committed to making the rest of my year the best of my year because I refuse to walk in fear, but rather fly by faith. I said I'm committed to making the rest of my year the best of my year because I refuse to walk in fear, but rather fly by faith. See, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. This is how you make the rest of your year the best of your year. This is how you take your business that may have been fledging all year long, and all of a sudden this last month, kick that thing, my friend, and see a breakthrough, my friend. This is how you do it. I'm telling you, my friend, it can happen if you're willing to rehearse the verse. I'm committed. Not I'm thinking about it. Not I'm trying. No, I'm committed. See, once you make up your mind to do something, you got to get committed. We got too many try babies. I said it right, try babies. We need some committed men. So I'm committed to making the rest of my year the best of my year because I refuse to walk in fear, but rather fly by faith. Fear, false expectation appearing real. Fear, former experiences affecting reality. Fear. All right, let me stop here, but let's go. So Muhammad Ali, y'all know this is my favorite quote. I say it all the time, and I'm going to say it a whole lot more times until you finally get it, until I really get it, and that is this. He said, I said I was the greatest. That ain't the good part. Here's the good part. A long time before I ever believed it. In other words, he wanted to believe he was the greatest, but he said, I don't believe it. So he said, I'm going to say it long enough until I believe it. Now, he said a long time. Is a long time 10 years? I don't know. 5 years? I don't know. 2 years? I don't know. A year? I don't know. 6? I don't know. But I know one thing. He said, I just kept saying it. I said I was the greatest a long time before I even believed it. So rehearse the verse. Say it. So it'll make you feel crazy a little bit until you finally start believing it. Starts kicking in, my friend. But you got to say it, my friend. That's what Muhammad Ali said. He said, I said I was the greatest a long time before I ever believed it. And by the way, my friend, my goodness. How am I going to do this? I don't have the time. We're not going to be able to do it. Okay, so let's stop here. Let's stop here then. Let's just make sure you rehearse the verse and say I'm committed. I'm committed to making the rest of my year the best of my year because I refuse to walk in fear, but rather fly by faith. Yeah. You may have been having marriage struggles all year, but you know what? This last month, that thing, you can have a breakthrough. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, you can. I'm saying, listen, my friend, I'm telling you the rest of your year can be the best of your year. Your walk with God may have been struggling, but I'm telling you this last month you can pull this thing. That's the way he works, my friend. He works when it's like it's not expected, right? But the folks that give up, they miss out. But the ones that keep believing, the ones that keep walking, my friend, by faith, all of a sudden, my friend, he shows up and shows out. And they're like, what in the world? By the way, was it David? David had a faith and a rock and defeated his giant. And all you need to defeat yours is to have faith in the rock.